Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills behind the camera. This is Aram Legion, joined by, on the right, Steve Ramirez, and on the left, Fred J. Robledo. Guys, we have a big one going down, a nice cross-zone matchup here. Damien, 2-1, heading west on the 210 to take on St. Francis, 3-0. Boy, this is a nice parochial matchup, guys. I mean, you really couldn't ask for anything better. Guys, take it away here.
Well, I think it's a great game for both teams. Obviously, St. Francis is playing really well right now. Damien, there's some questions about Damien all summer. How good are they going to be? A lot of guys were leaving the program, Steve. You had Mark Paredes, a legendary coach, coming in there. He's won CIF championships. You're wondering, can this guy turn it around? First week they get blown out by Orange Lutheran. You're thinking, man, this might be a long season. But this team has come back the last 2 weeks with 2 really good wins. And I know St. Paul's down, but smacking them the way that they did last week was big. And you're looking at their quarterback play right now. Brendan Callan, I mean, he's thrown for 606 yards and 6 touchdowns. Last 2 games, Steve, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns against Palm Desert, 203 yards against St. Paul, and they're averaging 177 yards on the ground. So this is a team that's mixing it up, and maybe they're starting to find their stride right now. And what better way to get ready for league to find out where you are than playing a St. Francis team who's really hot?
Yeah, and they're going to need to continue that, I think. I mean, the way St. Francis is, their question this year was at quarterback. They had basically everyone else back. But they had a new quarterback, and he's just been sensational in these first three games. He's averaging over 200 yards passing. That's Ty Ganji, and the way they're running the ball too. Joe Moody had I think about 150 or so against La Mirada last week. So it's set up for a pretty good game, I think.
Yeah, what do you think too, Aram? I mean, what do you make of Damien the last 2 weeks and kind of their balance?
Well, any win, I think, at this point, or, going into the season for Damien, is or was a good thing, given, what they had come off of last year and all the transfers out. Some of those guys, I bet, wish they were actually still there. Others, like Gage Pucci has gone on to lead Rancho Cucamonga to a pretty good record. So, but any win I thought was good. It should be noted that the competition of the 2 teams they've played, the records combined 1-7.
Yeah.
Not necessarily very good teams, Palm Desert and St. Paul. But like I said, any 2 wins are good. It builds confidence. Obviously, Paredes is going to get that thing going. He's just going to need time. I understand they play very well along both lines. Which is a great kind of recipe for success. I just think they're in way over their heads here against St. Francis.
Over their head, really?
Yeah, theory, way over their heads. In theory, Damien and St. Francis, should be a nice, tight, close battle between like schools. But this St. Francis team, Fred, they look to be on another level, especially offensively. If they get out in front in this game and they make Damien kind of have to play from behind, that could be trouble for Sparty. So, I'm impressed. It's another team. I know Sierra League coaches are taking Damien pretty serious right now.
They should.
We'll see. What happens the rest of the non-league and what happens once they get into league. But yeah, I mean, you can't argue with 2-1.
No, and you look at how they got there. Yes, they get beat by Orange Lutheran, Pac-5 team, who's obviously very good this year, but they blew out Palm Desert and St. Paul, 2 pretty good teams. I think this is the perfect game to find out. This is the truth game, really, for Damien, because St. Francis is like a Sierra League team at the typical type. They're like an inland team, maybe not top 5 inland team, but they're a legitimate inland team. So we're going to find out. Aram doesn't think they have a chance. I absolutely do. I think coaching Mark Paredes is a great coach, and he's going to have them ready. I mean, there's going to be a lot said about, coaching the last few years. You look at Coach Gano now, going to Tustin and being 0-4. He's out over there. And you see Paredes, what he's done these last 2 weeks. A lot of people are going to are going to give this to coaching, Steve. They're going to say,
Well,
maybe
I
Damien's
mean-
just a little bit more coached up now. I don't know.
Well, I mean, St. Francis has got a pretty good coach in
Yeah.
in Jim Bonds. He's
No, but what I'm saying is this. This might not be the Damien that we've seen the last couple of years. Maybe they are better prepared now. I don't know.
Like Aaron said, their schedule the last 2 weeks hasn't been, they haven't played a top team or even a mid-level team. I think
They blew them out.
I know they blew them out, and St. Francis's schedule had, they haven't played a lot of tough teams except for last week. I mean, La Mirada's 0-4, but the talent they have on that team, and to blow them out the way they did,
Yeah,
that's
I thought that was an incredible win for St.
Yeah.
Francis.
Yeah.
And that's one of those situations where La Mirada's just played some ridiculous teams, and you know that they're a better than average team. It's not like they beat a nobody.
But the thing I like about the St. Francis team is they can beat you so many ways. I mean, they have two pretty good receivers, and that they also told their tight end, who I think is their leading receiver, and the way Joe Moody runs the ball. I mean, it's a tough team.
Yeah.
It's like a pick your poison type of team to stop, and that's why I'm going with them this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Stevie has St. Francis. It's no secret that I have St. Francis. Freddie, sounds to me like you might be picking Damien here, or
I am picking Damien. It would be an upset. I can go with that. I think St. Francis is probably the favorite. They're the best team in the Pasadena area, regardless of how you guys rank Monrovia. They just are. And that's going to be so St. Francis, they get that win next week. But this is going to be a tough one. I think this is the game where they're looking ahead to Monrovia, and Damien sneaks in there and gets them.
you got to work in that shot on Monrovia.
I'm not working a shot. This is the Pasadena's best team.
I don't know how you. Well, Monrovia won that game last year, Fred. So I mean, I think
on a fluke.
for the time being, well,
St. Francis should have won that game.
for the time being,
They get to prove it next week.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I happen to agree with you. I think St. Francis is going to beat
And
Monrovia.
that was a much better Monrovia team last year.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Scobie could be a different. Why are we already breaking down that game?
No, we're not.
Okay. Anyways, so there it is. It's a 2-for-1. Both Stevie and I think St. Francis gets the job done at home. Freddie has Damien going on the road, getting the upset under Coach Paredes. Get out there Friday night. Little Stevie R will be out there. This is another big one. Oh, there it is. Putting on the Damien helmet. Freddie just went Corso. Remember, he did that last week for Charter Oak.
Man, who wore this helmet? The kicker? Could barely get it on my head.
Yeah, I know. There you have it. Okay, so get out there on Friday night. Stevie R will be there. If you're not there, though, he'll be tweeting updates, to say the least. We all want to know what happens in this game. It's Damien at St. Francis. Doesn't get any better than that. Nice little holy war. See you out there.